So yeah, my name's Chad. I'm an addict. This is the Old Timers Ask It Basket. I've got some questions up here. The way this will work is it'll be a regular meeting, with the exception if you have a question you want to ask, like some experience, strength, and hope on, find something to write it on, write the question, bring it up here to me. They're not going to know the question before I give it to them. We're going to just it's going to be like pick a card, any card, and then they're going to share their experience, strength, and hope, or not. And we'll just kind of go down the line here as we go. So let's open with a moment of silence, and let's follow that with the Serenity Prayer. Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. All right, we're going to do a couple of readings. Would someone volunteer to come read Who's an Addict, please? Oh, there we go. Volunteering. Yes, you have to stand on this chair right here. No, I'm just joking. Don't do that.
I love you too, man. I'm Paula J. I'm an addict. Hey, who is an addict? Most of us do not have to think twice about this question. We know. Our whole life and thinking was centered in drugs in one form or another. The getting and using and finding ways to means to get more. We live to use and use to live. Very simply, an addict is a man or woman whose life is controlled by drugs. We are people in the grip of a continuing and progressive illness whose ends are always the same: jails, institutions, and death. Thank you.
All right, thank you. A volunteer to come read what is the Narcotics Anonymous program? You're right here, so you might as well volunteer. There you go.
Okay.
I'm Sonia. I'm an addict. NA is a nonprofit fellowship or society of men and women for whom drugs have become a major problem. We are recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. This is a program of complete abstinence from all drugs. There's only one requirement for membership: the desire to stop using. We suggest that you keep an open mind and give yourself a break. Our program is a set of principles written so simply that we can follow them in our daily lives. The most important thing about them is that they work. There are no strings attached to NA. We are not affiliated with any other organizations. We have no initiation fees or dues, no pledges to sign, no promises to make to anyone. We are not connected with any political, religious, or law enforcement groups and are under no surveillance at any time. Anyone may join us regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. We are not interested in what or how much you used, who your connections were, what you have done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. We have learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, quick announcement, meeting announcement. Statement to members regarding the press. As our 11th tradition says, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. The primary purpose of our public relations effort is to tell the story of Narcotics Anonymous and what our program offers to the still suffering addict. Members of the press are often attracted to our convention, and we welcome their interest. However, we do not disclose our last names in the media as identifiable members of Narcotics Anonymous. If members of the press approach you, please direct them to a committee member or committee chair. Statement to the media. If any members of the media are present, we ask that you contact a member of the program committee or visit the registration table. Food statement. Please do not bring outside food into the convention area. Mask policy. Masks are recommended in all public areas and in meeting workshop rooms. Masks are available at hospitality and registration. All right. So again, if you have a question, you want to jot it down, just, Tammy's got it. Tammy, raise your hand. You probably know Tammy, but she has some paper and pen. You can jot a question down, bring it up here. We'll try to get all of them answered, but in keeping with the format of the meeting, we will try to end it on time as well. So I'm going to start right here to my left. I have no idea who any of these individuals are, so I don't know names. I'm just going to assume they got a lot of clean time and they know what they're talking about. So I'm going to. All right, so pick a card, any card, and you'll just read the question and share your experience on it. Or not.
I'm Terry. I'm an addict.
Hi, Terry.
Okay, so can you hear me? Are we good? Okay. Really, I don't even fucking need it. Right. Okay, so have you had any lost dreams awaken in recovery? Hard to say. I've had new dreams when I think that, actually, I chaired a convention that was our logo. Our logo was Lost Dreams Awaken, New Possibilities Arise. I got clean at 20, and I was a junkie, and that's what I was going to be, and I had no fucking dreams. I knew I wasn't going to be anything, and I think that when I think about any dreams that I had, maybe when I was a kid, but I started shooting dope at 14, 15 years old, and that was it. I wasn't going to be anything, and I knew. Actually, I had a dream that I was going to, you know how you have those dreams, like, I'm going to be sitting on the porch smoking dope and, all that fucking shit. When I'm 80 years old, like, I would ever fucking make it to 80. That wasn't going to happen. And then it was like, I'm going to die in a year, I'm not going to be around. And so I don't know that I had a lot of lost dreams awaken, but I've had a lot of new dreams and a lot of possibilities and things that I've got, family, I've got a daughter, I've got grandkids, I've got so much that was never a possibility that I didn't even think I needed or think I wanted or think was even possible. So do I have any? I have new ones. And even if I had dreamt what I thought I could get, I would have sold myself short. I know that because there was no possibilities when I got clean. So I just wanted the shit to quit, right? I wanted to get out of jail. That was number one. And number two, I just wanted to, people leave me the fuck alone and let me do my thing. Well, nobody left me alone, but I am doing my thing. So that's what I got.
Thank you. All right. Here we go.
I'm Donna, grateful recovering addict. My question says, how do you practice humility? Okay, so for me, I practice humility by putting other people before me and not being so selfish and being selfless. And to have humility is just to humble myself so I can know that I ain't the shit. That I need to know that there is a power higher than me, and I need to do something for somebody else and not just for Donna. It's not all about me. It's about what I can do to help somebody else, because that's what this program is all about, the therapeutic value of one addict helping another. And that's what we come in here to work on, but we have to humble ourselves to be able to do that, because you still think that you the higher power, or if I still thought that I was my own higher power, I'd really be in big trouble. You got to find something greater than you that's loving and caring. And so that's how I practice humility every day, and by trying to do something for somebody else and not always me, is what I can do to help somebody else along the way. And I try to practice that on a daily basis. I don't always have to win. I don't always have to come up with the best outcome. I'm helping somebody else, because people help me. If it hadn't helped me, I wouldn't be here right now. If somebody hadn't told me how to do this thing, I wouldn't be able to do it, So I don't worry about if somebody say I'm being a fool. I was a fool for all them years when I was out there using. I'm doing some things now that may look foolish to some people because you like, when I came in here, I'm like, I know they don't think I'm gonna do that. And I know they don't think I'm coming in at 9 o'clock. shit, we just getting started at 9 o'clock, and I'm in a shelter, but I'm going to try to make some rules when I go up in there for me. I don't care what the other folks do. I don't want to come in at 9. But I had to get humble because if I didn't, I was going to get put out. So I had to humble myself real quickly and to know that your shit do stink, Donna, and you better get on program with what's going on. It didn't take me long to learn that. And it feels good to not always have to be about me. It's just not always about me. When I go in and do something for somebody else, then that becomes about me because it makes me feel like a better person. It makes me feel like I'm being a productive member of society again. And it makes me feel like life is worth living and gives me some hope. So I just humble myself and do what I need to do just to help the next person because that's what I believe I'm here for. Not because I'm so wonderful, because what I have to give, God gave it to me so I can freely give it away. And that's what I have to do. I can't hold on to it and just say, I got mine, you better get yours. That don't work in recovery. If it did, I wouldn't be here. Because if somebody hadn't gave me something to go on, I'd be up the creek without a paddle. I'm working on my cussing, y'all, so when I cuss, y'all just forgive me. I like to cuss. I'm trying to get humble enough to stop cussing all the time, but I kind of like it sometimes, so, that's something I'm still trying to hold on to. But I can still be humble and cuss, so it works for me, but I'm just grateful. And I'm always going to have something funny to say because I enjoy this way of life because this is worth living now. The life I had before recovery wasn't worth living. It wasn't worth living. I was ashamed of me and wasn't too good with the skin I'm in. Now I'm humble enough to say I need to stop cussing, but I like it, right? So I, just keep working on it one day at a time. And as long as I'm able to help another person, I'm okay with me. Thanks for letting me share.
I'm Jerry, and I'm an addict. And that's an interesting question here. It says, when should you 13th step? That's what the question says. Why did they give it to me? No, that's an interesting question. Let me tell you something. One of the dangers here in the program, at least that I've seen and I've learned from experience, is that the 13th step, as we understand it, is dangerous in the sense that it drives people away, destroys lives, gives us a bad image. I tell you something. I got a guy I'm from Louisiana. You couldn't tell that, but anyway, I'm from Baton Rouge, and we just had an incident with this. We had a guy with 29 years was doing H&I at one of our detox centers. Detox called the H&I chair and said that this particular guy can't ever come here again. And the reasoning behind that was because the guy was giving the ladies in detox his phone number. So he called me when you leave. He had been 29 years in the program. And we, not only did they say that he couldn't come back, this is where the real danger that came in. They said that Narcotics Anonymous is not welcome at our detox center anymore, period. So I relate that to you to tell you that it's not just me. When I go into these institutions or I hit on the newcomer or I do things like she was talking about in the community and out there, they don't just see me. Most of them don't even know my name. Mm-hmm. They see that he came in with the Narcotics Anonymous H&I, or he came in with the Narcotics Anonymous PR. And they say, if that's the image Narcotics Anonymous is presenting to us, then we don't want them here. So we got to remember a lot of times I may be perhaps the only basic text that director or that center sees. I may be the only representative of Narcotics Anonymous that he ever comes in personal contact with. So I have a responsibility when I go there. The other danger of 13-stepping in the program, other than running people off and all that kind of stuff, predators, regardless of where they are, regardless of what organization you're dealing with, predators are dangerous people. And what makes a predator dangerous in Narcotics Anonymous, my experience has shown me, is that you're dealing with people you know are vulnerable when they walk in. None of us came here because we were doing great. Life was real good. We came here because of issues and circumstances from wherever we came from. And as a result of that, we have to find a safe place. We must always, now this is my personal experience and my thinking, is that we must always keep the rooms of recovery safe for the person who comes through the door. I can't find a time when 13-stepping is appropriate. I cannot find a time in my program when I've ever seen it the appropriate thing to do. So the predators who hang around here and do that, the danger is that in the long run, you pay for that. Not just the newcomer, but the person who's doing it. I was listening to somebody in here share last night about all the blessings that had come their way. And I thought about that guy I just told you about they put out the treatment center. He called me last week and he was in all kind of turmoil. You see, the higher power, the person beyond us who makes the decisions, they see what we're doing and how we're doing it. So, open the doors wide. Men with men, women with women, or whatever the case. 13-stepping is out of order, in my opinion, in this program. Dangerous, deadly weapon that we get caught up in here that kills a lot of people. That's it. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Hold up. I might can't see it. I'm gonna need my glasses. Let me see.
Can you read it for you?
I'll read it.
Let's see. Maybe I can read it. Oh, heck no. Let me get my glasses.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, let me get my glasses. And they read. There you go. Excuse me, my name is Sharon and I'm an addict. How long is
I'm watching you eat them Skittles, and I'm
you have to be considered an old timer? Recovery starts at day one. There is no such thing as an old timer. We only got one day in this program, okay? And for me, that was a hard concept. I didn't start getting high. My addiction started at age 40. I married into a family of addicts, and I didn't think it would happen to me. I was the one that couldn't come in the room. I had been with my husband 23 years before I found out he was an addict. I went in the room finally. I had two choices: stay home or not see him for the whole weekend. And after 20-some years, I decided to go in. And I saw him putting something up his nose, white powder, and I said, "You an addict." Okay? So I didn't think it was going to happen to me. So finally, when I went to detox, we were all in a circle. It took me 3 days to say I was an addict. And now, it took me 3 days to say I was an addict. And also, I saw people there who had said they had been in and out of the detox for 20 years. That scared me to death. And then they were saying, just for one day. It took me a long time to get that concept of just for today. And what it meant is that long as I don't pick up today, don't worry about tomorrow, because I ain't got tomorrow. As a matter of fact, tomorrow never comes, because when tomorrow comes, it's today. So I finally picked up that concept of just for today. So there is no old timer, because I know people that don't had 20 years and came back out and used one time and killed themselves. Okay? So, and what kills me is that people that come into this program that know how to tell you what step 1 means all the way to step 12. And yet, they keep doing the same thing. Getting married to somebody who young, who wants to take everything from them, and then 2 years later, they messing with somebody young again. So, to me, there is no old timers. I respect. When I came into this program, I looked at the people who had 7 and 8 years, because I wanted that. I wanted to get so far away from cocaine, because I was the type of person that thought if King come mess with me, I would whip his ass. If there was a way out of hell, Sharon gonna find her way out of hell. But when I ran into cocaine, it dropped me to my knees. It destroyed me. It took everything. And I'm not talking about material things. I'm talking about everything. Because for 40 years, I didn't walk down the street smoking a cigarette. Okay? A lady didn't walk down the street. It was things that I said I would never do. Okay? I was married to the same man for 20-some years. He was my first boyfriend. He was the only man I went to bed with. But when I got into cocaine, that all went out the window. So what I had to do when I came back into this program is put all the things, put all those pieces, all the disrespect, my family, my friends, my loved one, I had to put all that stuff back in me. It wasn't just that I had to get my license back or had to do this. I had to put me back in. NA, I wanted to be a productive member of society. NA helped me do that. It gave me my life back. I had to put my life into a detox, people who had to teach me how to live again. And that's what NA did for me. So as far as I'm concerned, you got 30 years, yes, that's a lot of time. But you can lose it in one day. Thanks for letting me share.
My name is Will, and I'm a slowly recovering addict. Will. And mine says, "You have just won a brand new color TV." No, that's not what it says. What spiritual principle do you still struggle to practice? Honestly? Yeah, I didn't come here very spiritual. And some days I'm more spiritually fit than on other days. You know, one day chicken, the next day feathers for me. So that's why I always say that I'm a slowly recovering addict. And I guess Jesus, the one that I struggle with most is really honesty. You know, is honesty. You know, and because that's the one I have the least experience with. I lied to myself for a lot of years, so I became expert at that. My mom used to tell me, "Boy, you just lie for the hell of it." And so I started to believe that. You know, when I was a kid, one of the ways that I used to deal with my problems, I don't have problems today, I have challenges, but I have very few problems based on the fact that I've been clean for a while. You know, and God has seen fit to put me on the wake-up list this morning, and so here I am, and I'm alive. But when I was a kid growing up, I had a hell of an imagination. And so I used to pretend a lot. You know, I would pretend that I was a cowboy, riding on my horse with my hair blowing in the wind. Of course, that was kind of hard. So I always had a pretty vivid kind of an imagination. I'm a person who likes to write. I'm pretty creative. But the one thing about that is that I can turn an asset into a defect. My imagination will turn into some elaborate bullshit, you know, and so I can lie. I can manipulate. You know, I was one of my hustles was I was a short con artist, the Jamaican bomb, all that stuff, and that I did in order to get what I felt like I needed or wanted. So today, you know, honesty is still one of the things that I struggle with. I remember when I first got clean, you know, and one of the ways that I separated myself from you, I was either, you know how we are, we either better than or we less than. And I remember coming in here and I would try to out-dope fiend you. Yeah, man, I did such and such, man, and I fell out a window and I OD'd 75 times. And so what I wanted to let you know that, hey, I'm really bad. It's something, you know, and so I'm worse than you. And that was one of the ways that I would separate myself from you. You know, and I didn't realize that at the time, but I just felt like, you know, I really needed to let you know I'm a dope fiend. And that's how I used to introduce myself. I'm a dope fiend. Goddamn it, I shoot heroin. You know, and so, but I understand today that that's really not the problem that I have, but that was the problem I thought I had. But I was in denial about it, and so I guess, you know, the truth now is that I'm able to tell that I'm an addict. My name is Will, and I'm an addict. I used to be 85043. I used to be DO5847. But that's not who I am. My name is Will, and I'm an addict. No more than, no less than, I mean, I am that. You know what I mean? I saw this gentleman earlier when I first came in here today, and he was saying that he was 80 years old. So, wow, he's 80 years old. He's got 10 years on me. And so, and the deal is that, you know, I was saying that, you know, some days I'm grateful, and then some days, goddamn it, I'm scared to death. You know, so I have to be honest about what those days are and when those days are. You know, the days that I'm grateful and I'm able to share about that level of gratitude, you know, that's cool, man. But when I'm afraid sometimes, and I'm tripping because I got the disease of tripping. And some days when I'm tripping, I need to be able to say so. I want to say, hey, Will, what's going on? I'm just chilling. That's a lie sometimes. Some days I'm not, okay. And so it's been important for me to get humble, to practice the 13th step, which I understand means ask for help. You know, that's historically what the 13th step has meant. That was an organization in Cleveland that came up with the 13th step. That's not widely known, but it's known. And so today I have to practice that. Ask for help. You know, ask for help. And sometimes I act like I don't need it. I'll get busy helping you. And I'll be busy as a motherfucker. And then when I lay down at night, I feel, or I don't feel. So I guess today, man, the one that I have the most challenge with is practicing being honest. Not brutally honest, but I need to be able to let you know your slip is showing. And so today, my name is Will. I'm an addict. And that's the truth. I'm an addict, man, with the disease of addiction. I don't lie for the hell up. I'm not a scound. That's what my mama used to call me, scound, which was short for scoundrel. Today, I'm a man who tries to live with some dignity. And that's what this program has taught me. So I'm striving to practice honesty. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Thanks.
okay. I'm Mark. I'm an addict. Well, this is the easy one for me. Have you ever 13th stepped? Be honest. Well, and I'm using 13th step the way that we were talking about it a minute ago. And the honest answer is no. Well, I don't. Before I get any, I was married when I got intervened on and got out of treatment, and I had been unfaithful to my wife in active addiction. Hanging out with people that I shouldn't have been hanging out with, and for reasons that I shouldn't have been hanging out with them, including but not limited to drugs. But when I got out of treatment, I was in a pretty good place. I certainly was no model of recovery, but as some people here can attest when I walked in to the rooms, but I did, I was well-intentioned, and I wanted to try to put my marriage back together again. So I was faithful. I was faithful to my wife, but it was for that reason. It wasn't because of any great integrity on my part. So I really, and look, I mean, I'm 68 years old. I was 50 when I got intervened on. When they said old timers today, they were, in my case, talking about chronological age. My clean date is March the 3rd of 2006, and as someone in my home group, thank you, as someone in my home group reminds me to my great benefit now and then, I'm a teenager. I'm going to be 16 next birthday, and that's about my emotional level. But chronologically, I'm 68, so another reason I don't deserve any great applause for not doing the 13th step is, people don't exactly confuse me with Jean-Claude Van Damme. But I will say I have seen a lot of that happen. That's not the question. I have seen a lot of that happen, going out to eat, like after a meeting with some of the young kids, and obviously their hormones are jacked up higher than mine by the grace of God, and I don't pretend to fully understand everything that might motivate them, but I will say that of the many couples the coupleships that I saw formed during that time, I cannot think right offhand of any of the females that are still around. There may be one or two males still around, and some of them still doing it. But anyway, this was too easy for me. I have not 13th stepped, and I will add. There came a point in time when my wife and I realized that it was just not going to be feasible to put our marriage back together. Something maybe we should have realized earlier. Thank God by that time I had been around long enough to know not to 13th step. So y'all telling me that is probably the reason that I haven't, and not just because I'm so wonderful and a person of such integrity. So thank you. And if we have another round, can I have an easy one like this again?
We have another round. We're going to have a
Well, not with me.
Thank you. I'm Terry. I'm an addict. It says, I guess it's a question. It has a question mark. It says, do not put your sponsor or anyone else on a pedestal. I don't think that's a question. Anyway, I think they meant, have you done that? And I will say that when I first came in, I think the person with the most clean time in this area had 5 years clean, and I thought that was fucking unbelievable. There was just no way you could be clean for that long. You know, I mean, hell, a fucking 30 days was like a maximum. So I get it, and I think the biggest problem for me today is when someone else decides to put me on one. I went through a span of time when I had about 25 years clean. And I don't know how I got it in my head, but what I got in my head was that y'all expected me to be perfect because nobody else had that much time around here. And if I had that much time, I couldn't be sick anymore. And what was I going to do, you know, because I was pushing myself off the fucking pedestals is what I was doing. Because I did. I 13-stepped a guy. You know, I did some fucked up shit. Sorry about the language, but that's what I did. And I did it because I was rebelling against what I thought was a problem. And it wasn't a problem. It was my addiction. And it was saying, oh, fuck this shit. Who cares? Nobody cares. I don't want to do this. And so I did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I didn't purposely 13-step him, but I didn't ask any questions either, you know. I didn't say, how long you been clean? I just said, come on. So, you know, I mean, there is that you know, and eventually I found out. So I think that was the biggest problem I've ever had with that, was simply my wanting to prove to you that I wasn't okay. I was not well. I was not, you know, if you knew what went on in my head, you would know that I was not well. Today, that's been it's been over 10 years, so I am much better. You know, I really do feel like I don't deserve to be on a pedestal, and neither does anybody else. We are all addicts. I've never seen anybody in this program, and I've been around a long time, so I've never seen anybody not make any mistakes, you know. And I respect anybody that makes a mistake and come in here and say, you know what, I did it. I did it wrong. I fucked it up. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this recovery thing. I think it was like I had maybe 5 or 6 years clean. I walked in and I said, look, I don't know. I don't know how to go to the grocery store and not act like a fucking dumbass. I don't know how to drive without wanting to rage at a fucking car, you know? I mean, that's how I was, because I didn't know how to, I knew how to come in here and I could tell you how to recover every single day. I was good at it. I was like, I could spout that shit. I could quote the book, page number 72, you know, and all that shit. I didn't know how to walk. I didn't know how to go to work and not freak out. I didn't know how to do this thing in my life, you know, and I think that is so critical to know how to walk through my day and bring this with me. And that's what I've learned over the time that I've been here. And no, nobody's on a pedestal, and if you are, I'll probably kick your ass off. Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. Thanks.
This way, this time. Okay. Let me try that. There you go. Okay. That's a good one for me. I'm Donna, a grateful recovering addict. And my question says, does your family treat you differently since you got clean? Of course they do. Of course they do. They wear the hell out of me. All the time, and I love it. Every day, somebody want me to do something for them, and I love it. And it's quite all right, because they did so much for me when I was out there using. They be calling me for stuff. I'm like, you want me to do that? But when I was growing up, see, I didn't have those parents that told you ain't going to be nothing. I'm just going to use my cuss words. You ain't shit and you ain't going to be shit. My dad told me, if you want something done, ask me. He was the one that would lift me up and say, if it can be done, he thought I could do it. So that's I didn't come in here with that real low self-esteem that like I couldn't do nothing, I wasn't nobody, because my daddy, an alcoholic, told me that if it can be done, she can do it. Call her. Y'all take too long. Just call her. He didn't know I knew how to manipulate and then go take the shortcuts. He didn't know nothing about that, right? And neither did I. I thought I would just get the job done. So all my family wanted was to get me back, because I was helpful before I started on using drugs. I was helpful to my family. I used to try to intervene in stuff and get to the solution. Try to intervene in things and try to help people come together. That's the kind of person I've always been, and when I stopped using drugs, they just wanted that person back. And so now they call on me and ask me for stuff, to do things for them. You know how to figure this out? Can you loan me some money? I be like, I ain't got no job. Right, so they give me money. So that works out for me pretty good. But anyway, they treat me so good that sometimes I even feel guilty about it, because somebody be jealous. How in the world did her drug addict behind get all this good treatment? Because I'm trying to live a different life now, and showing my higher power has put me in a position so that somebody can see that there's a way out. There's a better way of life. And so that's what I keep doing every day. And then they keep treating me different every day. They don't hide their pocketbook no more when I come around. And instead of them hiding it, like I said, they always like, can you do this? Can you do that? And I be like, thank you, God, that I'm able. And that's why I stay humble. And I know that it ain't even about me. God did not keep me here because I'm so wonderful and I'm so special and I'm so cute, kind of. Anyway, he didn't keep me here just because of that. He kept me here so that I could help some other people along the way. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I can help my family now. I missed out on so much, y'all. They be talking about stuff and they had to say, well, girl, this is when you was doing your thing. I said, no, that's when I was getting high. That wasn't my thing. That was just a thing. So they always call it doing your thing, because they don't want to say, that girl is a user, an addict, you know. They don't want to really say that out loud. They don't want to say that out loud, right? I said, say it out loud. And when I say it out loud, they look at me like, you don't have to say that. Well, what you want me to say? I was doing my thing. That was not my thing. That was just a thing that I got myself into. So, yeah, my family treats me so differently now. Even though when I was in active addiction, they still did for me. They always tried to buy me stuff that I looked like I had made some sense on me, that wasn't falling off me, because everything I had was, I was weighing 100 pounds. And everything I had was too big for me, so they let me wear their kids' clothes. You know, and that's what fit me at the time. And they always tried to do for me to try to, I guess, just to try to help me. And they still do it now. But now they know that I can help them. And they ask, and I do it. And I'm grateful that I can do it. And I'm just really grateful that they still love me, y'all. I'm so grateful that they still love me. And when I said about the jealousy part, some people do, like, why y'all always having a party every time she celebrate a year? Why y'all always having, shoot, man, I been somewhere. You better come on celebrate with me. And I'll show you how not to go down that same route. But anyway, I'm just grateful that they love me. And I'm grateful that they still give me a chance to just be. They done called me 15 times. Oh, you breaking rules. See, I ain't called them since I've been down here. And they want to know what's wrong with me because I ain't called them. I said, because I'm at a meeting. I'm at a meeting. Well, you know you're supposed to call me every day. At this time in the morning, we're supposed to say good morning. I'm like, okay, I forgot, forgive me. But my family is good to me, and I'm trying to be good to them. They helped me. They took care of my kids when I was in active addiction, and now I help them take care of their kids. And I don't really even like kids like that. I don't like all that babysitting stuff, but I will help them because they help me. And I believe that I have to give back, even not just in these rooms. I got to give back to my family like they gave to me. And so, as far as my question, the answer is yes. They treat me differently, but they still treat me as kindly as they did when I was out there. They just wanted to have me back in their lives. And I'm glad I'm back. Thanks for letting me share.
Jerry, I'm an addict. How many little jobs it takes to get it to the center of the pop? I don't quite understand. Can you see that?
Look at it. It said, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll pop?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand. That one might be over my head, though. How many licks does it take? Wait a minute. How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop? Who? Anybody knows?
Get you another topic.
I don't know who wrote that one. That's not in there really.
It doesn't matter, whichever one you want. Just grab one. Did you want another? You good?
No, I'm going to pass. Thank you.
Here you go. I'm a grateful recovering addict called Sharon J. This one says, how do you keep Yahweh first in your life? And my higher power, I don't call God. So if I say Yahweh, that's what you say God, okay? Is that okay? Yeah. All right. And how do I keep Yahweh in my life first? I remember when I got clean. I'll never forget it. This girl came up to me in a meeting and said, I had 3 boyfriends in this program. Don't mess with now one. And of course, and I didn't listen to her. And but you got to understand that I was married for 23 years. I was almost 19. My sister got pregnant when I was 12. My daddy told me that he was angry. He told me to go upstairs and bring him all my bras and never to wear another one. And as you can see, I still don't wear them. So he didn't allow me to grow up. And I watched my daddy dominate my mother. She couldn't work. She couldn't do nothing. My daddy controlled her. So my husband controlled me. So when I left my husband, I had just touched on getting high. I didn't know I was an addict. And I went out there, and my thing was I had 23 years worth of sex to make up for, because my husband was a truck driver, and I saw him sometime 12 days out of a year. And I had money, but I didn't have love or sex. So when I came into my addiction and found out that a young boy half my age was willing to get me high and give me sex, I pat myself on the back. I thought I had died and went to heaven. So I just ran with my addiction, and I didn't care about nobody. I didn't care. My thing was to tell a man, don't love me or like me, because I ain't got time. I'm too busy running and having fun. I didn't think I was hurting nobody. I thought I was just having fun. And that's what cocaine and getting high was for me. And it brought me to my knees. And today, how I live my life, I don't want to fornicate no more. Today, the most important thing for me is to give my life to Yahweh and to go to heaven. Okay? I am 71, soon to be 72. I soon to be 23 years clean. I've gotten all of that stuff out of me. I've did all the partying I want to do. I've did all the sex I want to do. Right now, at my age, the most important thing for me is to stay clean, to help a newcomer, to give my life to Yahweh. Now, I'm not saying that I won't never have a man, but my thing, to me, my choices in men's have been the wrong choices.
If I get a man, let Yahweh bring him to me. I ain't choosing him no more, because I've always choose the wrong person, okay? Because it's not enough for you to love somebody and to give your life to them, but they want you to walk the way they walk. My husband's thing was, I'm going to give you these glasses. No, that's the wrong way. Do it that way. Or I'm taking the car keys back, I'm taking the bank book back, I'm taking everything back. Today, I came into this program. When I came into this program, everybody wanted Reeboks, Gills, Gold, and then they got away from that and they wanted the houses. Everybody wanted houses and all that, okay? But that's, to me, those material things gonna turn to dirt one day. The most important thing that we have to hold on to is our higher power. For me, this is my story. This is for me. For me, Yahweh come first, and everything else come after. Thanks for letting me share.
Let Jerry answer your fucking question. I went ahead and screened these. These are the ones. These are the ones the adults wrote.
Jerry, I'm an addict. What would your mother think of you today? That's an appropriate question for me. She would be proud. She would be content. She would show her emotions and compassion toward me as a son, as a human being. And the other side, I came into the program, and Mom and I had to repair a relationship. And the higher power was awfully good to me and allowed us to have 17 years before she passed. We had 17 years together when Mom passed away, so there were 17 good years. It wasn't always repairing, it was moving forward, it was hanging out, it was doing stuff, it was enjoying life. I don't think there was so much making up as it was just appreciating. Finally, I had come to the point in my personal recovery where I could give back love, because I'd learned how to love and how to care. So I think today Mom would be extremely proud that they found a question I couldn't answer. I don't know anything about popsicles. Thank you.
I'm an addict. My name is Will.
Hey, Will.
A slowly recovering addict. My name is Will. So, what was your first meeting like? No, actually, my first meeting actually was I was in the penitentiary. I was in Oklahoma. I've been in 3 different states, so I'm world renowned. Yeah, so my first meeting, man, it was an H&I meeting. I'm grateful, for H&I. I show my gratitude by doing H&I myself. Yeah, but my first meeting was in the penitentiary, and I was just trying to find out, how I could get some cigarettes. I was in there, and I was trying to pass notes. I mean, that was my first meeting, and so those guys who came in there, to share, I was looking at them, who didn't think they is, because that's where I was at that time. But I wasn't really paying attention. But there was this one guy, and he came in, and he kept saying, and I kept hearing this. I did hear this. He said, "It's an inside job." And so he would share. He had been clean for a while, and he actually was from New York, and so that was hence the accent. And so he would share something about the program, and experience in the program and his relationship and with his recovery and the new way of life that he was living. He was talking about some of the problems that he had, some of the challenges that he had faced, and some of the solutions that he was now involved in. And he was saying, and what I found out was that it was an inside job. And you know what I mean? And so that, you know, and so for the next week, you know, throughout the block, we all were running around saying it's an inside job because it was funny. So I guess my first experience is that, hey, you know, I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't really paying attention. I was looking for something, you know, because I was distracted. I was distracted by what I was trying to do. And but I'm grateful that I actually went to that meeting, and I went to meetings subsequent to that, and I wasn't always able to pay attention at any of those meetings either. I've been to those Jerry Springer meetings. I've been to those meetings where they throw chairs, and I was at a meeting where this young lady was singing a hymn. So I've been to a lot of different meetings, and when you ask me about my first meeting, I don't quite remember what that was like, but I know what it's been like, continuing to go to meetings. What I realize now, because I've had the experience that this gentleman was talking about, is that this is an inside job, and I've been working to do something about the inside, and so I'm grateful that, you know, that they have meetings like this and conventions, and, you know, and that they have child-friendly meetings, you know, where you can bring your kids. I remember I got clean in San Francisco, and I used to go to a noon meeting, and in that noon meeting there would be people coming from work. You know, they'd have their aprons on or their uniforms on, and like I say, some people would be bringing their kids, and, you know, and they'd be talking about what their challenges were, what their problems were, and I kept coming back. And some of those things that they were talking about were pretty interesting, because I was saying, shit, I did that. That happened to me, you know. And so, but I never stayed around long enough to find out what happened. And so when I got clean in that particular meeting, I kept showing up. I got a commitment. I was doing this, that, and the other with the literature. I was making sure all the literature was color coordinated. I posted up by the coffee pot because I needed attention. So anyway, my point is this: by continuing to go to meetings, is, you know, not only was I able to hear about what people were going through, I got a chance after a while to find out how they got through it. You know, and that's the deal that's important for me today, is that, you know, we can talk about our problems, and we do, and it's important to share about about those things and what it's like. But the meetings that I've been to that have served me best are those where people talk about how they got through whatever it was that they were going through. And I know that's the only way to get through, is to go through things sometimes. And sometimes it ain't easy, you know, but we can get through it. And one of the things that I have come to rely on is meetings, you know, and the God of my understanding that keeps allowing me to get to a meeting. All right, thanks, that's it. Bye.
Thanks, Will. I'm Mark, I'm an addict. So to save time, Chad handed me my question a few minutes ago, and I started to open it, go ahead and open it, look, because I'm an addict, I cheat. But I didn't open it because I'm a recovering addict. So yeah, I thought maybe there was a quick response. How to process and share feelings for newcomers. Okay. You know, I don't, when I'm sharing at a newcomer meeting, I really don't try to fill the air with too much, because I remember how I was, and they got a lot going on in their heads, And, I tell people now, everything I thought about this program when I came in here was wrong. Yeah, everything I assumed it was wrong. Sharing feelings, newcomers that I've encountered, a number of them are sharing feelings of resentment. A lot of them forced in, like I was. Shame. I've had an enormous amount of shame when I came in. Fear. I still fight that. So, when I'm undergoing, feelings, because I think the question means how do I process it and share it for them, for newcomers. I don't really try to get too complicated with it. I really try to kind of keep it simple, because when it was me, I'd have been lucky to get 25% of what somebody was saying. I remember very little about what people said at the first meetings I went to. The main thing I remember is they came up and hugged me and expressed care for me and took away some of that shame. But I'm very honest. I've found that I don't rehearse what I'm going to say anymore. When I first came in, I'm a very analytical person. I'm in a very abstract profession. I'm an attorney. Don't hold it against me. And I cannot get you out of your ticket. But yeah, say that in a jail sometime in an H&I meeting and see what happens. But I used to be, I used to analyze and this, that, and the other, and that put extra struggle on me. I made it through it, but after a while I figured out. So, I process feelings as feelings and not thoughts. And I will, as kind of a first step, I will just reconcile myself that they're going to be there as long as they're there, and I'm going to be okay. I don't have to go out and self-medicate to get through them. Usually, when I have feelings that need to be processed, they are symptoms of the disease. It's normally remorse that yesterday didn't go the way I planned it, craving for the ability to go back and redo yesterday, and fear about what's going to happen tomorrow, or frustration that I'm not doing a very successful job of controlling what's going on today. Those are kind of the negative type feelings that I usually run into. Now, I will say this. I have had some incredibly powerful good feelings in recovery that I was completely unfamiliar with, because I was it took a long time for me to finally circle the drain, but I was morally dead since my first year in college in 1971 when I started using. And, I felt some things, but nothing as strong as what I did when I got clean. Pride in my children. I go to some basketball games in Memphis, the Grizzlies. I don't know how many of you are familiar with them, but at the beginning of every game, they have a little kids' school, elementary school choral group, choir, somebody come out, sometimes a solo, and sing the Star-Spangled Banner. God, I'm losing it right now. And every time, my daughter kids me, every time I cry over the bravery, the courage that I know that little kid is, has mustered up to get out there in front of 20,000 people. I mean, I'm a crybaby, you know, and I like it. I like feeling that. So I don't try to process those. I just enjoy them. So I guess that's what this question meant. And my doctor won't let me have Tootsie Pop, so I can't help you with that one.
Last two.
I'm Terry, I'm an addict. How did you maintain your recovery during COVID? Well, if you really want to know. I started Zooming everywhere. I did. We took all the meetings. I was helping them do Zoom. I got a Zoom account. I got formats. I gave formats to people. I chaired meetings for them. Because this is my recovery, you know? And I don't give a fuck. If they had said, you know, this is how you get clean, my fucking ass had been on Zoom, you know? I mean, I don't care. I do what I have to do to stay clean. When I came in, the first thing I was said was, they said, it was bad. I mean, anyway, it was in treatment or whatever. And they said, if we told you to go stick your head in a bucket of shit, that would be willing to go to any lengths, would you do it? And of course I said, well, I don't think so, because that's fucked up. But you know what? That's almost that, you know, it is, because it's about going to any lengths, and it's about sharing the message. It's about getting it out there, and I don't care what it takes to get it out there. If I had to use a fucking cup and a string, my ass was going to get a meeting, you know? And we had already been doing, before COVID hit, we had been doing a hybrid meeting at our 10 o'clock meeting that myself and this one over here started. And so we were already used to using this format, and we just kept it up. And, you know, I know that it's not a popular subject, but the truth is, what I found was there was a person that called me that has been around. He actually died during COVID, but he had been around for a long time. He was a little less clean time than me, but he had gotten sick, and he had gotten where he couldn't leave home. And he had asked me to speak at his birthday, which was his home group was on Zoom, because he couldn't leave home. And this was 3 years ago. And I spoke at his birthday. And I realized that there's a great need for addicts that can't leave home, and that are either caretakers of people and they're not able to get out, or people that have kids, and kids don't, you know, kids are going to be, you know, they can't leave home, and they can't leave. They can't go, oh, the kid's asleep, I'm going to go to a meeting. You know, they have to be home. So there's a gap. And I thought, you know, what the fuck, we can do this. We can fill this gap. And so that's what I've, you know, kind of wanted to do, and that's kind of what I've started, you know, in trying to accomplish in this area, because to me it's important. And it doesn't matter, you know, I'm not saying I'm going to always do Zoom meetings. I love in-person meetings. I'm a big fucking hugger, okay? I hug everybody. I'm an asshole sometimes. But anyway, I love to hug. I love in-person meetings. I'm very demonstrative. You can tell this hand keeps going up here. So I do. But the truth is that I want to reach every addict that can get clean and stay clean. And I don't care where they are. If they're in jail, if they're in bed, if they're, you know, wherever they're at, if we can reach them, we need to reach them. And I don't know if that had anything to do with COVID, but during COVID, I was going through a divorce, and I had just got divorced. It just got final, and there's COVID. And then I also lost my job. They were letting me go, and I had to go find a new job after 21 years at a job. So my life was like, so I was freaked out. But you know what? I just kept coming back. And that's all I do. I put one foot in front of the other, and I just keep coming back. And so far, 39 years later, I'm still fucking here, and I ain't going anywhere. So I'm glad I'm here. Thanks.
Okay.
Yay, you got the last one.
Well, I knew they'd get me before I left here today. Okay, so I'm Donna, a grateful recovering addict. It said, what is your sponsorship style? My sponsor just left the room, y'all, so whew, I'm going to answer this real quick, right? So my sponsorship style right now at this particular time is none, because I'm really not doing any sponsorship right now. I've been in Virginia for like 25 years. Just came back down here 5 years ago, and then 2 years later, COVID hit. But that ain't the reason I ain't doing no sponsorship. I just said that to try to make it seem better, right? It's just because I haven't, and I don't make enough meetings to do what I'm supposed to do, right? I don't want to be trying to show somebody something that I'm not doing. When I was in Virginia, when I first got clean, I had sponsors out the yang-yang, sponsees out the yang-yang. When I came here, I haven't had a sponsee since I've been here, and that's being honest. And when I joined my sponsorship, first sponsorship family was in Virginia, and there was a whole bunch of women, y'all, over there with a whole bunch of jewelry on, a lot of different, she's back. And a whole lot of pocketbooks and stuff, and they were smiling and laughing, and all I wanted to do was just have some joy in my life. And I joined those women. They taught me a lot to do, but they taught me a hell of a lot not to do, right? Because they were still changing prices on clothes in the store, and they were still doing all kind of stuff. I'm like, I ain't finna go to jail clean. I made it through active addiction without going to jail. I'm not getting ready to go to jail clean. But my sponsor back in the room now, so I'm going to get through with this real quick. Sponsor, my question is, what is your sponsorship style? I knew they'd get me before I left here today. And so I'm just trying to be honest about it. I need to step up my game a whole lot. But I just haven't. I ain't trying to make no excuse for it. But there ain't no excuse, right? You're either going to do it or you're not, right? So just for today, I know sponsorship is the heartbeat of this program. I do know that, and I know that each one teach one. Somebody got to teach you how to do it. And I've always known I never put my sponsor on a pedestal. They've never been my banker. They've never been my ride. They've never been my anything. They just teach me how to work this program and how to stay clean one day at a time. I let the sponsor stay where the sponsor is. You know, I'm not trying to make them my God. I'm not trying to make them my higher power. I'm just trying to have somebody with the knowledge. I see something in them that they got that I want so bad, right? And I just watch the way they do it, and I just stay clean one day at a time. But my sponsorship style kind of stinks right now, so that's it. Thanks for letting me share.
All right, my name's Chad. I'm an addict. Thank you guys so much. That was the last the only last one. I didn't know if it was necessarily a serious one or not. It was why are workshops 90 minutes long instead of 60 minutes long? And this isn't a prickly answer. It's because the committee wanted it to be. And that's the answer. Somebody was at a committee meeting and looked at someone and said, let's do it for 90 minutes. And they said, okay. And they decided on 90 minutes. And that's the answer. All right, for all who care to, let's circle up close.